Because I tell you this, people who act like they with you, they down with you, they down with the cause, yeah, Israelite this, Israelite that. The minute it comes time for pressure, they gonna fold and rat you out. They're gonna fold and rat you out, and we're enemy number one, especially if you trust in Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah. So I just wanted to put that out there. We gotta keep our head on a swivel. The enemy is out there trying to, what is it, 1 Peter 5:8, be sober, be vigilant. Another scripture is that's compelling us and telling us to be sober. Be sober, be vigilant, because your enemy, the adversary, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. So be spiritually sober, first and foremost, meaning you in the spirit, you locked in. All right, ain't nothing wrong with having a drink, every now and then. A good shot of whiskey or whatever, some wine, but don't go out there being all drunk. Your mind ain't with you, you ain't got your wits. But moreover, don't be all consumed with the ways of this world, the philosophies of this world. Scriptures tell us the ways of this world, or the fashion, it passeth away. All these things are going to pass away. Esau's, his philosophy, his lifestyle, his democracy, everything he pushed on the nations. That's why the scripture said the nations were mad, because they were filled with the wine of the wrath of the fornication, in so many words. They drank of that wine. They drank of the bullshit that Esau fed them. They drank of it. Now they became drunk. When you drunk, you make all types of mistakes. You make all types of mistakes when you're drunk. And a lot of times you're not even conscious of the things that you're doing. And until the next day, all types of shit happen. You wonder what the hell just happened. And you don't even know what the hell happened because you were so drunk. You don't even know what you did. All right, so be locked in, stay locked in. So it says, Luke 21:34.
Shalom, shalom. I want to first off by giving all honor and glory and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, Great Millstone. This is to Waban Yahweh. Just some quick little video. So like you heard the brother, we got to stay locked in and really focus on what's important. And that's crazy because I'm sitting parked right now, but I'm sitting in a car in front of me. As I said the word focus, I looked at the back of the car and it's a Ford Focus. So, yeah, like just spiritually, like that's what my mind's been fixated on is staying focused, because we in serious times. We're literally at the end of this thing, and now is not the time to be sidetracked with the fashions of this world, like the brother was saying, because getting caught up and worried about what's going on in society and trying to keep up with societal pressures or societal views is going to leave you lacking spiritually in what you should be preparing for and what to do next. And then you ultimately going to be disappointed because you didn't put all this energy and effort and focus into the world when, like you said, the world gonna pass away. Esau's kingdom is going fall, and this is not gonna last forever. So while you fixated on something that's not gonna last forever, you gonna just only disappoint yourself because you're wanting this place to last and to stay here longer and to be in captivity and just this is backwards. This is not how we supposed to be living. Getting up every day and doing repetitive things is psychotic. That's a form of being psychotic, because you're doing the same thing except expecting different results, and you're not gonna get nothing different out of doing the same thing all week and then having no time to no downtime to really collect yourself and figure out yourself and connect with the Most High, connect with Yahweh and Yahweh Shai spiritually, and finding out what you're really supposed to do. Esau tries to distract us with this work week and bills and just all these distractions and things to make you not sit down and stop and look around for a second. But us as believers in Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, we, you know, we supposed to separate ourselves from what society deems normal, or, you know, what people find acceptable, like the hustle and bustle, like that hustlers, you know, fucking, you know, nonsense, always slaving for a dollar, you know, and that's not what we here to do. So, you know, as you can see, I got a couple things. I just put in "be not deceived" because, you know, that's really the main quote that should be in your head, is not being deceived by what you seeing in this what they call conspiracy theories, what we call the Matrix, because ultimately this is an illusion. Getting up and doing what we call work, and earning a living and all of these things, and just buying things, all this is an illusion. We don't need, it's just consumerism and, you know, materialism. So they praise that and they want us all to be like that, but that's not the case. That's not who we are. Especially us Israelites, that's not how we operate as a people and as a nation. So I'm gonna, you know, just look at these and, you know, go off that. So 1 Corinthians 15:33, be not deceived, evil communications corrupt good manners. And that's what Esau loves to do. He loves to corrupt, you know, the minds of Jake through manipulation, through wordplay, and just scripted manipulation. You know, make us talk a certain way, act a certain way, give us false idols, and basically just puppets to do their bidding and to make Jake act and be a certain way. So, you know, we could look bad, you know, to not only Esau, so-called white man, but to all these other nations because of who we are. He knows who we are, so he wants us to act opposite of, you know, who we actually are. So us being royalty and higher up, he wants us to act lower than and under. So it puts us in a pit, uh, uh, in a certain light, I should say. And ultimately, his evil communications is trying to convince us that the chip, the RFID chip, is something good. Is something that we need. You know, CBDC, monetized money, is something that's good for us. Digital dollars and eating bugs and living in camps. Like, this man is insane. But a lot of people is gonna eat that up. They in a metaphorical sense, they gonna, you know, eat it up and believe it and go along with it. Ecclesiasticus 13:8, beware that you be not deceived and brought down in thy jollity. So jollity is like, you know, a period of happiness, an era of, like, you know, joy and cheering. And that's how Esau wants you. He wants you to be distracted and trying to enjoy your life while pure destruction is coming by the hand of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, which is ultimately just judgment. So he wants you to remain distracted as much as possible until judgment comes, so you cannot get the salvation that's given to you through the power and the names of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. And ultimately, they give you the truth and the spirit and knowledge and understanding of the Holy Scriptures, and let you know who you are and what you should do when the time comes. But Salakia. But yeah, he wants you to just basically be distracted. Oh, I skipped over this one too. Be not deceived. Galatians 6:7. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. And when in the way in the rate that the world is going, people don't believe in Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls God and Jesus. They don't. The falling away is happening at such a large rate, and then just the societal, you know, um, criticism of being a Hebrew Israelite. And like the brother was saying, like, you shouldn't tell nobody you a Hebrew Israelite. You shouldn't tell your coworkers. You shouldn't tell your neighbors. You shouldn't tell, certain family members that, under the Christian doctrine and all that, because that the more people you tell, the more the higher the chances you got somebody ratting you out in that day in order to gain, whatever, their life or, food for their family. But, it's just about keeping your head low, staying low profile, because the time gonna come where, those people who already don't believe in Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, they're gonna, have this hate and this just pure death in their minds and in their spirit. So either they're gonna either seek to kill you or wish that you be dead, if not already, because we just coming in a time where everybody's waxing cold. Like, emotions are becoming non-void. People are becoming less and less empathetic. And that time gonna come where these people gonna take the chip, and there's no coming back from that once you do, because ultimately they're trying to just save themselves. So they'll take the chip in order to get food, and then rat you out in order to stay alive or something. Like, you just never know. Like, who knows, the situation. But the fact is, people are going to be mocking the Most High at a exponential rate, because just the lawlessness and just the carelessness of the world. And what we're trying to reap is that them immortal bodies and that salvation through the names and the power. I already went through Ecclesiastes. And like the brother was saying, there's nothing wrong with having a drink, every now and again, but that's a physical matter. When the Bible, when scriptures speak of wine, it's meaning philosophy and your ideology, your what you theorize about life and philosophize on life. So wine is a philosophy that someone upholds, and if you are enticed by it, then you can ultimately get caught up and start believing in that lie, or that absurd philosophy, like the mark of the beast not being a chip. Like, those who push a philosophy like that, they're ultimately setting people up for destruction, because not only is history lining up and showing, and reality showing, that this is what's to come, scripture then already said it. So when scripture said it and then reality is lining up with it, I think, it's true. But yet we still got people out here pushing the narrative that it's not the mark of the beast. And that's a strong wine that you don't want. You do not want to ingest that. This is Job 15:31. Let not him that is deceived trust in vanity, for vanity shall be his recompense. Yes, so when you trust in lies, lies is only what you gonna get back. You know, they tell you that the chip is good for you, and here it is, and you're not supposed to take it because now you're fully cut off. Or they say you'll be cut off from society, but ultimately, they're not telling you that you'll also be cut off from the Most High too. So, when you trust in lies, you get lied too. But back to what I was meaning on that point of the wine. Proverbs 20:1, wine is a mocker, a strong drink is raging, and whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise. So that's, and this scripture lets you know that it's about philosophy, because it says wine is a mocker, strong drink is raging, and whosoever is deceived. So to be deceived by something, you have to be told something. You have to be lied to. You have to be manipulated. So, that's what the Lord mean when he's saying, don't be in excess in wine, and excess in drink, meaning don't believe everything that you hear, because everything that you hear is not true. Okay, this second Esdras, this is my last one, and I'm gonna end it. This second Esdras 7, and I'll start at 20. For there be many that perish in this life because they despise the law of God that is set before them. For God had given straight commandment to such as came, what they should do to live, and even as they came, and what they should do to observe, what they should observe to avoid punishment. Nevertheless, they were not obedient unto him, but spake against him and imagined vain things, and deceived themselves by their wicked deeds, and said of the Most High that he is not, and knew not his ways. But his law have they despised, and denied his covenants, and his statutes have they not been faithful, and have not performed his works. So you have people like that now, that are just drunk off Esau's, philosophy of living how you want to, and believing, in everything else but Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. And ultimately, they're going to face punishment. And those of us in the faith and who came to the knowledge and truth and understanding, we know that to avoid that and to prolong your life is to, and the only way to do that, to prolong our lives, is to keep the laws and the statutes and the commandments to the best of our ability. And one of those is not pricking ourselves or accepting the mark of the beast, which is the RFID chip, the implantation in the right hand. But I'm going to end it at that. Lord willing, it's edifying, just something to think about, just remaining focused, keeping our heads, basically just filling our minds on and fixating ourselves on Yahweh and Yahweh Shai and what they got planned and going on right now, because we just getting closer and closer to the end. So with that, I'm going to say, Call Laim La Alahaya Nawa Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, the great millstone which I learned the truth from. Peace salutations to the hopeful elect out there who labor in this word with truth and sincerity. Shalom to the speckled bird Israelite who happen to look like these other nations, but through the spirit and bloodline do indeed come back to the nation of Israel. To you I say shalom, and to the few Aquaf listening and learning in obedience, silence, to you I say shalom as well. Have a blessed evening. Shalom.